let's take a moment to talk about one of my all-time favorite albums to ever be released on Psychopathic Records. Let's talk about Zug Izland's Cracked Tiles. Now, before we talk about the album itself, let's talk about what was going on with Psychopathic Records at the time of this release. So, the Wraith of Shangri-La had just dropped. Zug Izland's Cracked Tiles was getting ready to be released. Following the release of Cracked Tiles was ABK's Hatchet Warrior. I mean, the label at this point in time was tighter than it had ever been. This is definitely, in my eyes, during the dawning of the family era. So, I mean, Zug Izland's Cracked Tiles, it's fucking chock full of Juggalo classics. You got fucking Prison Song, Sunny Day, Fire, fucking Hiroshima. But one of my all-time favorites on this album would have to be the very last track, Simplicity, featuring motherfucking Blaze, ABK, Jamie Madrox. I mean, that album, like that whole fucking album, so fucking dope. Front to back, seriously. And like, if you ain't down with Cracked Tiles, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is definitely an OG thing, I guess. But anyways, Cali Green, motherfuckers.
What up, y'all? Scotty Balls up on here. I wanted to get up on here and wish Zug Izland Cracked Tiles happy fucking anniversary. Came out shortly after the Wraith Shangri-La came out. They played this album so much at the Gathering and just all the Psychopathic events. They would constantly play Zug Izland Cracked Tiles to the point ninjas were like, dude, we've heard this album like over and over and over again. But this album, when it was something from Psychopathic that wasn't done. Everybody knows this was Violent J's baby, you know? The Joe Bruce Rock Project came into fruition as Zug Izland. You know, Sin took over the vocals, and the rest is fucking history. Cracked Tiles is a classic Juggalo album, you know. Can't find my original CD, but I have the Toxicology, and the majority of it is from Cracked Tiles. I know they released 3 tracks from it on the internet, I believe. And it was Sunny Day, Fire, and Prison Song. You know, great songs. But the one that really stuck out to me was Fly. They had released it earlier on Forgotten Freshness Volume 3. And that is one of the best tracks I've heard ICP put out. If you haven't heard that one, go check it out. I really would like to hear a new Zug Izland album. You know, happy fucking anniversary. Zug fresh.
15 years ago, Psychopathic released the debut album by their first ever rock act that they signed to the label. And that is Zug Izland with Cracked Tiles. Definitely, in my opinion, a Psychopathic classic. It's definitely a Juggalo classic. I think with songs, you know, like Prison Song, which would have been a very dope video back in the day. You know, the track Always. You know, this was cool back in the day because, you know, back in 03, you had ICP, Twisted, Blaze, ABK, Isham, and Zug Izland. Pretty steady roster there around that time in 03. This was during the whole Diamond Reigns era. Very dope album, you know. I thought it was good because I think Psychopathic was trying to do something different around that time. I love the album, really dope. I hope they re-release it because it would be dope if they did just re-release the whole album. Peace y'all, Don Chaos here, signing out, and always keep the hatchet in your life, and Juggalo love, and also rock on Juggalo love.
Hey, Echo Side Fiend here. Just gotta wish Zug Izland's Cracked Tiles a happy 15th birthday. 15 years ago, man. Wow, I do believe that this album should have blown up a little bit more than it did, seeing as the time that it came out was the late 90s, early 2000s during the big rap metal, rap rock explosion. I really feel that this album should have got a lot more of a look by the mainstream. I think it didn't because a lot of people just saw that it's psychopathic, oh, that's ICP, fuck them, whatever, and didn't give it a lot of look. I don't think it really would have blown up, really, because it's, an independent label that it came out on. But I feel like it should have gotten more attention. Over the years, I have played it for friends of mine that aren't juggalos, aren't into ICP at all, and they liked it a lot, So I really feel it should have gotten more attention than it did. It's an album I like a lot. I hadn't listened to it in quite a while until we started talking about doing this, so I gave it another listen, and I'm going to be listening to it quite a bit again. There's a lot of great songs on here. Fire and Sunny Day are awesome. I love both of those. The song Always is really cool. I really like the guitar work in that, kind of ballady. This album also contains one of my favorite psychopathic songs of all time, being Prison Song. It's kind of a folky, like folk rock, song, obviously all about murder, and so it's kind of got a nice little twangy beat, but the lyrics are really dark. Another thing I really like about that song is in the beginning when you hear Violent J talking about that they're at, or he's talking over the PA system, and he mentions that they're at Ionia prison. At the time when this came out, I had two friends that worked there. My friend Bill was a shift supervisor there. He's retired now. My friend Jason was a guard there, and he worked there for a few years before he just moved on to a different career. So I thought that was pretty cool. Beyond that, happy birthday to Zug Island's Cracked Tiles, man. Great album. Make sure you pick it up.
Zug Island, Cracked Tiles, dropped 15 years ago on January 28th, 2003 to be exact, which wasn't that long after the Wraith Shangri-La came out. And if you were a juggalo 15 years ago, you remember the buzz and anticipation for the almighty Six Jokers card. We've heard Zug Island before their debut album on tracks like Cotton Candy and Popsicles. And one thing that stood out to me right from the jump was that the song Suicide was actually teased on the Wraith on the track Ain't Your Business, except when that was released as a single before the album, it was just called Maybe.
Maybe I'm upset that you left me. I hang myself right above your bed from your ceiling fan, so I'll be swinging with you walking, I might kick you in the head.
The fact that Mikey Clark was not going to be producing the Wraith Shangri-La was an earth-shattering, scandalous atom bomb that scared the shit out of a lot of diehard juggalos and infuriated a lot of them as well. But songs like the Juggalo chant on the sampler helped, I think, ease our minds, and that had a lot to do with Zug Island and the lead singer, Sin. We'll never die alone, juggalos will carry on, the rest. And that song debuted in the summer of 2002 at the Gathering of the Juggalos in Peoria, Illinois. I remember the first time hearing it, in the arena section of that convention center. And I can't lie, I was pumped. Mike P, Sin, and Little Pig on the drums were all over the Wraith. Songs like Blam or Thy Staleness, Juggalo Homies, and even on The Unveiling. But when it comes to Cracked Tiles, this album is fucking fire from beginning to end. No pun intended. And by the way, I always thought that the track Fire, I should have had a different name, like Ogre's Fire or Fire Baby. Another track that really locked me in as a fan was the song Cry, which is actually a cover of a song called Cry Little Sister that came from the Lost Boys soundtrack. And that's actually a song about longing for family from a rejected youth's perspective. Pretty fitting for the Juggalo community, I would say. We all know that Violent J wrote every track on this album, and Mike P engineered or produced the whole thing. So I'd say Cracked Tiles is a home run, and I always notice that on the cover of the album, there's like a school class picture in the background, and you can tell that's Joe Bruce as a little kid. That's his school picture right there. See if you can find him. Pick up your copy of Cracked Tiles and see if you can find little Joe Bruce in his class picture there.
And there was a story that Jay shared with us about how the Bruce brothers were picked on and bullied in school, and there was a running joke saying that, you know, if you stepped on a crack on the tile, then you had to kiss one of the Bruce brothers, and that obviously made a lasting impact on them. And the name of the band also harks back to ICP lyrics on countless songs throughout the original 6 Jokers cards and Sideshow EPs, where they talk about Southwest Detroit, Del Rey, and the toxic waste of the industrial fucking structures of Zug Island. The song Slam ended up being turned into the theme song for JCW, which you already know if you've been following this shit for the past 10 years. If you've ever been to some JCW shows or checked out these matches on DVD, Bloody Mania. Yeah, there isn't a bad song on this album. I think my favorite track has to be Always, which is more of a softer song. And I hear tell Jay wrote it about his brother Jumpsteady, which makes sense. It always made me think of my best friend, Tommy B., who at the time was living in Florida. And if you know my tribute to ICP, Dear Joe and Joey, you know, I rap about that, how we discovered ICP together and then he moved down to Florida. And discovering the Dark Carnival with my best friend was a life-changing thing for me. Maybe it didn't technically save my life, but it sure as hell enriched my life in ways that I could not have fathomed. I really don't know where I'd be today if it wasn't for the music of Violent J, ICP, and Psychopathic. And I got a lot of love for Zug Island. And Cracked Tiles is by far one of the few records that does not have a single unlistenable track on it. I can listen to it from beginning to end over and over and over, like I have this week, just trying to reminisce. And man, it still holds up today. So, happy birthday, Cracked Tiles. And I feel so passionate about this album that I'm probably going to do a full album review in the near future, as well as for The Ringmaster. So, big ups to the rest of the Juggalo Jedi Council who participated in this bloody birthday video. It's my bad that this video is late. They actually all got their parts in on time before the birthday. And Zug Island shares a birthday with Shaggy Two Dope's solo debut EP, Fuck Off, which is going to be the next bloody birthday video coming very soon. I'm Beastmaster. You guys are awesome. Make sure you check out CarnivalSpirits.com and always remember to fuck the fuck off, motherfuckers. See ya!